And time for me to bid you good night and apologize for what may seem to be just a little bit of a tardy start. Guess what? I'm here, and for some reason they have taught us as young ones coming up that it's always better to be late than to be never. But sorry, I'm late, and very pleasant night to my Straight Talk family in St. Kitts and Nevis, and to all those in the entire Caribbean region. To my Straight Talk family in the Kittitian and the Vision diaspora, I say greetings to all who are logged on to zizonline.com. There's some of you in Asia, there's some of you in Europe, there are some of you in Africa, and I know there are a whole lot of you all over North America, so I'm at liberty to say good night. In some cases I can say good morning, and I'm sure I'm at liberty as well to say good afternoon, because one of such greetings will be applicable to the region in which you now find yourselves, perhaps on a short vacation. Or no, you're still on that vacation, but perhaps you're all locked down or all being unable to get to your places after that vacation because the borders are still closed in many destinations and many points of origin. So I can only empathize with you and trust and hope that you are in a state of good health nonetheless, because it's important, very important, that you stay safe and you stay healthy. And for those who are also logged on to Sugar City FM St. Kitts, Sugar City FM St. Kitts, my good brother Val T is always in the house, and I'm sure tonight is no different. But Straight Talk is a public service program that facilitates and promotes free expression on all issues of national interest, be they legal, be they environmental, be they technological, social, economic, and or political issues. On Straight Talk, you do have a forum to express yourselves freely. Let's in the process continue to keep St. Kitts and Nevis as one of the freest countries on the entire world, I should say. Straight Talk is a program that tries to raise the level of national consciousness. We try to raise the level of national discourse by alerting our people to their rights, to their responsibilities, and certainly to their obligations. My name is Ian Patches Liburd, and I give Almighty God thanks for blessing me with yet another opportunity to join you in conversation on yet another occasion, my Straight Talk family. And in the event you have joined me for the first time, I trust and hope it won't be your last time. And just to inform you from the onset that Straight Talk is a participative program. By that I mean we entertain your calls, we entertain your emails, and in the event you want to participate via the telephone, the numbers are 465-2555 and or 718-577-2916. For those who like what I call the cloak of anonymity, we can provide you access by our email platform, which is zizstraighttalk@gmail.com. That's zizstraighttalk@gmail.com. So my Straight Talk family, let's go. We understand that there's a tropical storm Gonzalo in the area. It's been formed. I did in fact thought I had that update on that storm from the St. Kitts Met office and the Antigua Met services as well, but I'll perhaps provide you some information on that during the course of the program. And just to let you know as well, because last week, or last Monday I should say, we discussed the issue of severance payment and the Protection of Employment Act. And just to let you know that there's a letter published, or there was a letter published today on social media coming from the Department of Labor that is advised by bulletin board notice that, and I quote here, all eligible employees who have been laid off for 12 weeks or more from the St. Kitts Marriott Resort and Royal Beach Casino, i.e. workers at the hotel, casino and golf course, that I believe should mean, are asked to visit the community center on Victoria Road, Basseterre. That's tomorrow, Friday, July 24, Monday, July 27, and Tuesday, July 28 of this month, between the hours of 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. to complete the severance forms. These employees are advised that this application process can now be facilitated as the Department of Labor is now in receipt of the full staff lists that were requested from Marriott, inclusive of the rates of pay. Kindly remember, it continues, that only persons who have worked for 1 year or more are eligible for severance payment. Please also remember to work with your Social Security card and the layoff letter you would have received from the St. Kitts Marriott Resort and Royal Beach Casino. Also note that COVID-19 protocols will be observed at the community center. As such, social distancing guidelines will be in effect, and persons can only access the building if they are wearing a mask. And this missive, this notice, is signed by Dion Webb, the Deputy Labor Commissioner. See, there goes a new development in this particular severance payment issue. Again, eligible employees who have been laid off for 12 weeks or more. I thought this would have said, though, those who wish to get their severance payment, but seen as though from this letter that all workers, all employees are being, or there's a particular list, or he said rather in receipt of the full staff list. So that's interesting, my Street Dog family. And I thought, as I said, that would there are some who may have wanted to retain their jobs, because I thought that the hospitality sector, based on the information coming from the Ministry of Tourism and elsewhere, that they are looking forward to the reopening of the hospitality sector, which includes the hotels. But that's will come more information, no doubt. But it's interesting, as I tried to actually calculate a payment, provide a practical example to simplify the application of the Protection of Employment Act, which speaks to Section 7, again, as it relates to notice of termination and the termination services, and who and how it's the basis for payments, which speaks, as I mentioned earlier on Monday last, employees with 3 months but less than 1 year's continuous service, etc., and up to 10 years. But let's say you work in 10 years. That, I believe, and I stand to be corrected, is equivalent to 25 weeks. And how do you calculate 25 weeks? And the first 5 years of work, I believe, is 2 weeks of severance pay for every year. So 5 times 2, that's 10 years. And the second 5 years of work is 3 weeks pay for every year. So that 5 years at 3 weeks, that's 15 weeks. So 15 plus 10, that's 25 weeks. So if you are perhaps working, for example, $500 per week, $2,000 a month, you will multiply that by 25, and that's $12,500. That's a lot of money. One would wonder if you had the option to take a severance and or to retain the job. But we'll get more information, no doubt, on that, my Street Dog family. But That's the information coming from the Labour Department there, and the applications for the severance payments will be completed, handled this coming Friday. That's tomorrow, Friday, the 24th of July, Monday the 27th of July, Tuesday the 20th, between the hours of 8 to 5 p.m. I was also reflecting early today, my Straight Talk family, on the period of March to June 2020, which I believe would be recorded as one of the bittersweet periods in our political history. I believe it was the turning point, the exact moment that will forever change the direction in which our beloved country will continue to progress. It was a landslide victory for Team Unity, recall, and that is still tasting sweet in the mouths of all of our supporters. But some, for a long time, will remain bitter, because during the 2020 campaign, one of the most insidious attempts at undermining a government that had performed exceptionally well, my Straight Talk family, during its first term, revealed itself weeks before the June 5 elections. And with unfounded accusations made against members of the Team Unity government by Sam Condor and his sidekick, or rather his close comrade, Dwight Stefan. But these accusations were overshadowed by the uncovered truth that they had changed their views, not for political purposes, but for their own selfish aggrandizement. The charge that Sam Condor and Dwight the Liar were flip-floppers, though, was an hot-button issue for these two former ministers, and resonated throughout the election campaign, much to the benefit of Team Unity. The problem was not that Sam Condor and Dwight Stefan had changed their minds. It was the fact that they had done so solely or primarily for reasons of political expediency. It was Matthew Cooper, an American political journalist with a career spanning over 30 years, and who from 2014 to 2018 was a senior writer and editor at Newsweek, once opined, and I quote, "Somewhere along the way, the charge of flip-flopping became one of the deadliest in politics. The shorthand," he went on, "for the lack of character." Again, somewhere along the way, the charge of flip-flopping became one of the deadliest in politics, the shorthand of or for a lack of character, unquote. Very interesting quotation. Opinion.
Sam, you don't leave that. You don't make a decision. You can't be what they call flip-flopping. You can't move away from Douglas because you're doing bad, and Timothy, going with Timothy, and Timothy doing bad. So you move back. It does not look good for you to leave a blatantly corrupt leader with dictatorial tendencies and then support him 5 years later when you find fault with another leader or party.
Yes, but on some other occasions, Straight Talk would deal with these two unscrupulous, shameless characters who are crawling back undercover. Yes, believe me, they are crawling back undercover to the Team Unity camp in search of favors. But these two characters, I always said to you, they need a government to survive. But Straight Talk will keep you posted on this new development. But lest we forget, though, the World Health Organization is the issues that I want to address in particular tonight. We'll deal with the flip-floppers at some other time. But the World Health Organization on March the 11th declared COVID-19 a pandemic, pointing to over 118,000 cases of the coronavirus illness in over 110 countries and territories around the world, and the sustained risk of further global spread. Lest we forget my Straight Talk family.
In the past 2 weeks, the number of cases of COVID-19 outside China has increased 13-fold, and the number of affected countries has tripled. There are now more than 118,000 cases in 114 countries, and 4,291 people have lost their lives. Thousands more are fighting for their lives in hospitals. In the days and weeks ahead, we expect to see the number of cases, the number of deaths, and the number of affected countries climb even higher. WHO has been assessing this outbreak around the clock, and we're deeply concerned both by the alarming levels of spread and severity and by the alarming levels of inaction. We have therefore made the assessment that COVID-19 can be characterized as a pandemic.
My Straight Talk family, just reminding you, lest we forget. This, as we have all come to experience, is not just a public health crisis. It is a crisis that has impacted every sector in the economy, not just in St. Kitts, but in economies all over the world. Recall as well that at the request of Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris, the Governor General Satapley Seaton declared a state of emergency on the 28th of March in 2020. Lest we forget, my Straight Talk family, we did declare a state of emergency.
My fellow citizens and residents of St. Kitts and Nevis, last evening I asked His Excellency our Governor General to declare a state of emergency. Effective 7 p.m. today, Saturday, March 28, 2020, all citizens and residents will be subject to a curfew between the hours of 7 p.m. and 5 a.m. each day for the next 14 days.
Lest we forget,
This
my
is
Straight Talk family. This was part of the federal government's scaled-up response to contain and control the COVID-19 virus and minimize harm to our people. Lest we forget as well that the National Assembly would have automatically prorogued Thursday, May 14th, the five-year anniversary of its first sitting in 2015. Remember, the dissolution meant that within 90 days, the people of St. Kitts and Nevis would have headed to the polls to give a 5-year mandate to a new government. My Straight Talk family. Prime Minister Harris reminded us that we are a nation of laws. And as a country of laws, or governed by laws, as per our Constitution, which is our supreme law, the Constitution is very clear that every Parliament shall continue for 5 years from the date of its first sitting of the National Assembly after an election, and shall end unless sooner dissolved. So therefore, again, the PM requested of the Governor General on Tuesday to dissolve the National Assembly. Recall, my Straight Talk family.
Almost some 5 years since that first sitting, and I had advised His Excellency the Governor General, Sir S.W. Tapley Seaton, to dissolve the National Assembly as from Tuesday the 12th May 2020, and he has graciously consented.
Yes. And then we had elections. And the election brought certainty to our federation, preserved our democracy, and allowed us to continue to build a stronger, safer future. It allowed us to create employment and prosperity, build bigger homes, and keep us healthy and safe. But all this is against the backdrop of COVID-19. We have to stay together and overcome this COVID-19 pandemic. But we are being confronted with challenging decisions, including the reopening of our borders, my straight dog family. Difficult decisions.
This is the most challenging, since this calls for the opening up of our borders to larger and more regular influx of persons, many of whom will be returning from areas which are coronavirus hotspots, meaning that the likelihood that they will transmit the virus on arrival is greater. If we are not careful in opening up our borders, the consequences could be severe.
Yes, my straight dog family, the consequences could be severe. Persons can die.
We could experience, for example, the overwhelming of our limited quarantine facilities, the overwhelming of our security forces in managing quarantine facilities at several locations, the overwhelming of our health sectors, and eventually many persons can die.
Very difficult decisions to make. And my straight dog family, we have foregone the music festival. We have foregone the CPL, I believe. Discussions have already begun and decisions have been taken in relation to the opening of sporting and outdoor activities, football, and other sports, including tennis, my straight dog family.
Sure, it is a welcome news. It's a welcome position that we have arrived at with respect to really getting our children, getting our athletes, getting the doors, if you will, open back up to the type of lifestyle which is so beneficial to a healthy nation and even for our athletes. So we know that we've been locked down for some time and for necessary reasons to safeguard our children and our athletes, but to open it back up is very, very welcome, very important step in the process. So.
Yes. Upcoming, though, is one of our largest events, one of the largest activities. We call it Carnival. And questions are being asked about this event by Straight Dog family.
We've seen over the past few months so many carnivals that have been cancelled. We've seen St. Martin, Antigua, Barbados, St. Lucia, Grenada, a host of carnivals that have been cancelled due to this pandemic. Now the fate of St. Kitts and Nevis, the fate of Trinidad and Tobago, Miami, and Jamaica Carnival is on the table. Will the few islands left in the region be able to actively host Carnival as we know it?
Well, that's about the few islands, but we are concerned about us. Will we be able to host that event? How should we celebrate this upcoming Christmas? It's going to be on our doorsteps pretty fast. How should we proceed in terms of the hospitality sector and other sectors? And perhaps, just like the elections, where we kept it homegrown, we keep all the other events homegrown. These are some of the questions I'm going to ask, and I'm going to open the lines and entertain your views on any of these issues. But we cannot lose sight of the fact that COVID-19 is still a health threat. So how should we go forward, in particular with the hosting or the events of sporting and outdoor activities? We've had the drive-in movies. I understand. I've never been there. But the beaches are open. How should we go forward, my Straight Dog family, in terms or in relation to these activities? And in particular, how should we celebrate this upcoming Christmas season? These are some of the questions I'm going to ask in my Straight Dog family. I'm going to open the lines and entertain your calls, entertain your emails. You may have other issues to raise yourselves, but here's what. When I open the lines, which I'll do in a couple of seconds, I anticipate that you will respect others. And of course, to achieve that, you must first respect yourselves. Let us try to be fair to all concerned. Let us try to build goodwill and better friendship. Let us, in the process, ensure that the things we say and or do will be beneficial to all concerned. And let us, my Straight Talk family, in the process, ensure as well that the things we say and or do will build a kinder, gentler St. Kitts and Nevis. At 27, before the 9 o'clock hour, we go to the lines. Caller, I say good night.
How you doing, man?
I am peaceful, sir.
All right, I just want to make a stupid comment. You know, I've been listening, I've been reading Times and also Newsweek since I was a child, okay, maybe 11 or 12. And
you have a radio in the background? So I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, let me, it's my other phone. Take it easy.
Yeah, please.
I'll turn it off. I thought I was away from this and it wouldn't do that. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, I want the whole world to hear, though.
Okay, look. COVID-19 is a progression, just like Ebola and all those other things. But most of us down here who live in this small world won't be aware of it, okay? So, outside the box, people who don't see politics, people who see people, would understand that the language that has been uttered even before we had COVID-19 is also one of an agent of COVID-19. You understand? COVID-19 now becomes an agent of the New World Order. You're a politician. You know that the language used in your circles are quite different to the peasants. So, just something that you're going to hear. Anyway, listen, I think you should keep Carnival homegrown too. Don't open your borders until Carnival's over. Okay?
Okay, thanks. Thank you.
Have a great one.
Have a great one. Thanks for that intervention. Keep Carnival homegrown. Caller, you're live.
Hey, Patrick, how you doing this evening, sir?
My dear brother, I'm peaceful. Yourself?
Good to hear that. Let's forget them two guys. Do I understand? I really, but I tell you, I would have put my head on a block that Sam was patriotic and Dyer was. This is why you have all the problems for the past 5 years, because I wasn't willing to give up on Douglasism and Douglas. And this is what it is. Bro, I've learned so much this year, especially from those two guys. I trust not too many people think this. People like, yeah, we could trust, because you don't stand for injustice. But let me tell you, Sinkis, oh Jesus guy, that boy then, he destroyed Sinkis, man. And those two guys, Sam really let me down. But I tell you, if things are not going to stand by, I won't say nothing. I thought, oh, my mouth, I will have to lock him up tomorrow morning. But I'll leave it at that, okay? Zambo, he was a friend of mine, okay? When he was, I know him when I was in school in the world, and he was, he was a big firm or whatever. And like I tell you, I say, you see what I do to Zambo, okay? No. That thing with, let me say one thing to you quickly. There's a lady who told you Monday night, because sometimes I just listening and sometimes I have to laugh. She told you, go and eat the food, whether it's poisonous enough or not, or just stay away. Please don't listen to that lady. She's in her own world. Okay? Don't listen to her. No. Let her go and tell that to her grandson, who lived on the hill in Mattingly, and who, when he started calling names of the people helping thief material from Mattingly High, from Public Works, he was poisoned. We know who did it. I know who did it. If a man from Market Street tell us the same bad actor tried to poison him. If you ever need to meet that person, I would be glad to let you know that. Okay? Now, one last thing I want to say is this. I want the people of Sink and Patches, listen to me. There's a lot of murderers walking the street in St. Kitts, okay? St. Kitts was a dirty, lawless banana republic. It was an SO country, as Trump said. It's getting better, but unity still have more to do, okay? You have to put that man in jail. Look, the thing you have it. Anybody who don't believe me, go to government headquarters and ask for St. Christopher Nevis number 2 of 2018. It's a Development Control and Planning Amendment Act 2018. Ask for it. You might have to pay $1 or $2 for it. But ask for SKNIS, get a copy of this. This was used against the man who was putting people around in the billboard. And Unity passed a beautiful law, a beautiful act. You did that. And you're saying here, the act maybe, and you have the governor's name saying here, and you got Anthony Michael Perkins, Speaker, and Sonia Body Thompson. So go to SKNIS. After this was done by Unity, a great act. So now they have to have the electricity department tell it there. No, this was never the case before, okay? And you had a sociopath. He's a sociopath because of what the side addiction. Putting people in God, there's a lot more to talk about that. But please, go to SKNIS and get it. Unity passed a beautiful law, but you have to prosecute this man. It's a that already happened. You'll be destroyed a lot of lives. They don't care who the hurt. Once you're a sociopath, they don't care. But Patrick, you keep standing up for the people thinking and for justice, and don't listen to that lady. Please, have a good evening.
Have a good evening as well, my dear brother. We go back to the lines. Caller, you're live at 20 before 9.
So can I wait for it to get on?
Beg pardon?
Can I wait to get on?
To get on air?
Yes.
You are in fact on air.
I'm on air already?
Yes, just turn your equipment or your radio down.
Uh-huh.
Are you close to your radio? I can hear radio in the background.
I turned it off.
Okay, the whole world is listening to you.
Good evening, Mr. Patches.
Good evening, my dear.
I appreciate your program so much, and I'm happy to have got to this stage about the carnival. Right now, the government is pressed enough to in helping all of us people in the Federation. Why would we put the government on more stress and strain to even think of carnival? This is not the time to do this. Carnival right now should be on a hold to be talked about later on, and perhaps plan for next year. And then remember also too, you have to open the borders. We plan to open it. We can't open it right away because we have to think of the facilities we have. Will it be overpowered? So I mean, please think, you all Carnival Committee, of having like little village old-time carnivals, and maybe in the heart of the town we could bring back the old-time carnival and have that, and then bring God back into Christmas. Let us celebrate God, especially this year, the birth of Jesus Christ. Remember, this is a year we have been praying so much, and we need Him. Are we just going to abandon Him and put Carnival first? I leave those thoughts with you.
Sound intervention, my dear. Thanks for your input. I bring back the old-time Carnival and bring God back into Christmas. Caller, you live.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Listen, I like to give a little my opinion, and then maybe ask a question afterwards. My opinion, sir, I'm an Antiguan, but I'm abroad. I always go back to Antigua. I've been to St. Kitts in 1967, and it amazes me when I land in St. Kitts, and all the areas were sugarcane, just like in Antigua. And I said to myself, all these estates were sugarcane. And we are Leeward Island people. And I said to myself, now we get so-called independence. We get independence from England. But what? All the estate lands in Antigua and St. Kitts didn't go to all people. It went to all other peoples. Now I am saying reparation. England had us working hard, sending our sugar and cotton to England. We have a Governor General representing the Leeward Islands. Why are we not pushing for reparation? Why are not we pressure England, the Queen of England, and the Prime Minister of England to recognize what they have done to the Leeward Islands with sugarcane and cotton? Why shouldn't we get ourselves treated better? We have Governor General representing the Leeward Islands, and we are not getting anything from England. We got to let them know that they use us for sugarcane and cotton for years and years, and it's a shame that we are still not getting treated right.
Well, what do you think we are doing wrong, though? Because Hillary Beckles and all
we are doing wrong because we have our own people to run our country, and they only looking out for themselves. We have politicians that are getting rich. They are millionaires in the country, and they're not sharing the wealth to the ordinary people. We need to be wise and see what is going on. We have Governor Generals not looking out. They put Governor Generals, but they're not looking out for the people.
Okay,
those things need to change. I would like people to speak on it. We need reparation from England.
Got you loud and clear, my dear brother. Thanks.
Okay, this is my conversation right now.
Thank you very much for your intervention on reparation. What do you think? But how do we celebrate our upcoming Christmas? Someone said we need to bring back the old-time carnival. That's the macajumbies and the clowns and the big drums, and bring back Christ into Christmas. God, rather, into Christmas. Caller?
Good evening, Patrick.
Good evening, my dear.
Yeah, Patrick, that's our carnival, right? We got to put ourselves back into the time when we were young. We say that we are sort of we have the COVID thing under control. When we do open back the borders, we know for sure we are going to be letting in the COVID into the country. But as is right now, the country is locked down, and the young people around, they're going to be bored. They're going to be restless. Let us not look for ourselves, the older folks. Let us think about the young people. If the borders are still closed, let the young people say how they want to jam. If they want a juve, if they want troops, they want what? Because as is now, the COVID are under control, and we still gathering in a kind of way. I mean, don't stifle them no more, because we don't want them to erupt into no bad behavior again. They don't board already. They don't lock down from since March. And to tell them they can't get a little jamming, we the old people supposed to stay home and pray. Stay home and wish the young people well. But give them a little jam, man. Give them a little jam. Give them something. We not get dead.
How would you deal with the social distancing jamming, though?
Man, we're playing a hypocrite game. We ain't got no social distancing, nothing.
No?
It is just to say. The bus done filling back up. The buses are filling back up. You walk the streets and people normal. People look normal going the way. Only thing they have on the mask, give the young people some kind of jam in.
So they'll jam
with jam, man.
They'll jam with the mask, but...
Yeah, jam with your mask.
Okay.
No COVID inside here, because we not open the border.
Okay. Okay.
Once the border not opening, the situation kind of under control. If you're going to let people in now, that might be chaotic. But keep the borders closed and give them a jam, give them a juve, give them something. Even if one or two people get sick, we can manage it. Because people can get sick anyhow. As soon as you open the border, it's chaos. So give them something. Don't stifle them no more. Since March, it is unprecedented to get a nation and the lockdown from March to when. We don't even know when. Give them something. Stop being selfish. Stay home and pray to Jesus.
Okay, my dear. I've heard you loud and clear. Give the young people something, but can't they stay home and pray with us too? I'll call you live.
Hello, good night, Patrice. How are you?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, tell the lady there when we let them jam now, what's going to happen to us?
Give your views
Everybody gonna get sick again. They better leave the jamming. I'll tell them we also got good Christmas years ago, and we know we also got no jamming. Right?
We always had jamming. We always had jamming.
I go to Christmas and thing. It's gonna be just a little normalcy for a while. Look, they ain't got no culture and people up there still happy. And everything. We're jamming and creating things. Everybody gonna want rush upon one another. Yeah, going up.
Okay, got you.
Yeah,
You got you.
and then we're going. I don't know. I want to request no jamming. Just give us a quiet Christmas and everything.
What you call
more gonna come, you know. 3,000 me here out there in one area the last night in the state, you hear?
Okay.
We want a jamming, eat with food, and thank God we live to see 2020, and that's good.
Okay, got you loud and clear, my dear.
Yeah.
No jamming, eat your food. Caller, you live. I missed that call. Caller, you alive. Hello, caller.
Good night, sir.
Good night, my lord.
How are you, sir?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
Not too bad, sir. Mr. Ian Patrice Liburd, wish you all the best in life in your endeavors, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Anyway, sir, I have a little problem. I see you every night, sir. I see you every night and make sure the thing goes. You know what, someday, you can't go call you, catch? Yeah. So I really want to problem. So I wanted to go help me in any little small way, sir. Yeah? I was in a problem for a while. I had to isolate myself for a while. That was a different isolation, as you were saying. But what I'm saying now, back on my feet now, I'm trying to help myself in terms of getting a work on terms of getting back into society, getting money and stuff like that. So I tried to call, and I tried to call the Prime Minister Tuesday, but I didn't really get through nothing. So I tried to call and see a little advice on where you could give me the boss, because I know it's hard, and you know, for you to go back on your foot for the first time, it's hard. Like it was the one beg nobody and do nothing, so the Bible said, boy, this person is supposed to eat bread. So if no one to think will get something to eat, the basket. Just come say, because I don't want to go on peace and nothing like that, so.
Okay.
Ask for some assistance, sir.
Well, just touch base with me. Touch base with me tomorrow, and we can go from there.
Okay, you can give me a number, please, sir?
662-3617.
662-3615?
17.
662-3617.
Yeah, if you don't get a response to the call, just send a message with your name and what have you.
Okay, so I could do that on WhatsApp, right?
Oh, yes.
Okay, well, you got my name on here just now?
No, you didn't give me the name, but send it by the WhatsApp, no problem.
Okay, thank you for your time and patience and things. I hope everything work out. All the best, and we'll touch base, right?
I look forward to that, my dear brother.
Yes, sir. Thanks a lot, sir.
My pleasure, sir. Let's go back to the lines at 10 before. Miss that call. Let's take this call. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Hey, family, what's going on? This New York Joe, what's going on?
I am peaceful. New York Joe. It's gonna be homegrown, tonight. So you can't come for it.
Yeah, tonight I'm not in no jamming, you know. Okay. The young man called earlier about reparation and stuff like that. But I want to ask you a question. Are you familiar with the fact that in Sadlers and Harrises, right, when slavery was abolished, all those sugar lands was turned over to individual slaves? Are you aware of that?
No, I'm not aware of that. So.
Okay. Sadler's Village, Sadler's Estate, and Harris's Estate. All those individual sugar plots were given to individual slaves. So now, most of the land is still in those families' name. Up to when the sugar was closed, they were cultivating those lands. They go with planting, the tractor, the hauling the cane, all kind of stuff. Take out the taxes and all that kind of stuff, and all the expense, you know, to get that sugar to the sugar factory, right? And gave each individual owners the difference, right? Now, how I know about this? There's somebody who is pursuing their family right now, and it's on record. It's on a record. If you can probate all the way back to your family, right? Land is actually yours. Those taxes were paid up to when sugar factory was closed. I think it's 2004. All right. So what I'm saying is, there's a lot of people who have ties to Sadlers and Harrises who can wake up tomorrow morning and are millionaires, but they don't know it. Now the young man was talking about politicians and all kind of stuff. We are black folks.
Were they not part of the acquisition? I mean, if that was so, then it would be those estates you refer to weren't part of the acquisition?
No. Severance and Harris's are the only
ones?
The only lands that was given directly to individual slaves. The only land. You could do your research.
Yeah, but I'm
correct.
What you're saying, but I'm saying right? In 1975 there was a land acquisition of the sugar industry or the sugarcane land.
No. Those land wasn't part of it.
I thought it was
not part of it.
I thought it was just
okay. These lands are individually owned.
Okay.
And if you know anybody from settlers who used to own sugar plots, sugar cane plots,
your family,
you can talk to them. Talk to them. They were responsible for actually plowing and planting and cutting the cane and getting the cane to the factory. The government did help with the factory and all the tractors and stuff like that. But the government takes out that expense.
Okay.
And at the end, they give them the net.
I got your point, sir. Okay. We'll do the research. I got your point.
Yeah, so do your research.
Yes, sir.
Because I'm telling you, these lands are still in the name of the families of these people. And there's somebody pursuing right now, and once they get through, they're going to be instant millionaire.
Okay.
Okay? And it's something for lawyers to look into also. Look in the registry, and I'm going to tell you, that has been sitting on a lot of stuff. Okay?
I got your point. Yeah.
All right.
I got your point.
All right,
Thanks
good.
for your information. That's research will have to be done. Let's hope you're right. Caller, you live. Okay. What's happening with these calls? Caller, you live. Hello, caller.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Mr. Patches.
Yes, sir.
From Challenger Stonefort to your program and listeners with love. Mr. Patches, last week I mentioned some things about, as a sort of response to what? I don't know what's wrong with Mr. Kanda. You know, the threesome and another radio station owner and a doctor. I mean, and they're calling for the borders to be open. Sound like people who don't have sense. I mean, open the border. Then somebody called in and said something about people from Marriott who got letters to, that when you walk, you're laid off for a number of weeks. You should be paid off. Well, I'd rather hear something tonight, I mean, which is good. The people meet together and decide if they want. But they were agitating. Petty people, man. They said they got money, petty people. I mean, big men going on like silly children. They just lost the election. All the foolishness they've been talking over the months. They still see that. They see they lose and they lose worse than before. They come with something new. Like the doctor is a Bantu man. And I don't know what's wrong with him. Anything the health department tried to put in place to fight the corona, he got criticism of that. He never experienced a pandemic yet. They had something called SARS and some other things some years ago. I was frightened when they said they had no cure. I know he was catching on, especially in Asia. But he never had nothing like what they got now as a plan. And he boasted about he had plan. He had nothing as good, not better than what the government has now. He had this year central government and the program led by central people. I mean, and they need to stop this kind of nonsense. But I can end because only 2 minutes by saying that this thing about the union, there was a time when they say Pam killed the union, he accused Pam government of killing the union. Mr. Kanda knows better than that. He knows better. And he should talk the truth. Stop fooling people. The thing is that they used to take out your money without your consent. Let me repeat this, I want more people to know. And a man named Frank Depasoa from Old Road Challengers took the matter to court and won, and they stopped them. And then the government legislated to protect people from people interfering with their wages. Sam knows all of that. He knows all of that. If you don't know something wrong, so they must stop playing around with people's minds and stop telling lies. Tell the truth. Not because they say politician lies, but that's just a fable. But he must tell the truth. He and Martin and Liburd. Stop chat the stupidness. I mean, that's what they said. They can come on tomorrow with the nonsense. I don't listen because I want to hear what they say to be able to rebut, but sometimes I can't get in. I I had something to say about the union again, you know, but
yeah. Okay, well,
it's
remember,
tricky. But when I get on another program with you.
Thank you, my brother. Thanks a lot.
So I can bring up some of them historical facts because the younger people need to know. Be aware of them.
Okay.
Right. Have a good night, Mr. Patrick from Challengers.
Have a good night, my dear brother Emil. Caller, you are live.
Okay, so thank you very much.
Who is this?
Mr. Volcano.
The man from the volcano?
Yes, I put on the kettle.
Put on the kettle to boil?
Yes, so the steam could kill the corona.
Somebody was laughing at you.
When?
A couple days ago, they said culture can't get into this program. That's so good.
You mean Monday?
Whenever, sir.
No, man, I just saw you to relax and remember I tell you I had a vocal cord problem.
Okay, got you.
So I was soothing it.
Okay.
He ain't all the best, you know, but sorry, I'm gonna look at this. Well, he get blood money from Libya, and he get drugs money from Syria. Then he went down to Nigeria for passport money from his children mother. Then he say he don't like the story. Why the Guti don't lose his tail? When they finish with him up in Sudan, he gonna rest his backside in jail. Then they hold his camp up in Gatwick. When he landed up in England, he had money inside his jacket. He was hiding from the custom. Then he say he know the story. Why the Guti don't have no tail? When they finish with him up in London, they gonna fling him behind in jail. Then he went down to Dominica, get a passport from his friend Skerrit. When Timothy asked about the passport, he winged down guard, say he did not get it. Then Timothy asked Mr. Kondo. Mr. Kondo say ask Mr. Dwyer. Then the three judge come to conclusion and call him a good for nothing, damn blasted lawyer. Then they take him to the Labour Party. Limo asked where they're going with he. Then the first thing he did was wrong, was to murder the Labour Union. Then Congress tell him about it, and he say he don't like that story. When they finish with him in the party, he gonna end up in misery. I'll come back, Patches.
You must warn me, man, so I get the band in the house for you.
Okay, I gotta come back with the Carnival thing.
Okay, my
Put
brother.
me second do.
Thank you, my brother.
Alright.
At 9 o'clock, right to the top of the hour, we go straight to the lines of Mr. Call. Let me take this call, then caller, you live.
Hey, good night, Mr. Liburd.
Good night, Sister Sylvine.
And how are you doing?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
Well, boy, it's only peace God has given, you know.
Yes.
Other people give strife and stress.
True.
He said, my peace I give unto you.
My peace I leave.
That's the world give it. Now I want to give Joe in New York some information. I think he misunderstood. Now, there were two peasant settlements, Harris's and Foy's. And he could check it out. Selected workers were given 3-acre plots. They were required to plant cane on 1.5 acre, and they could grow food crops on the other 1.5 acres. They were not given title to the land, but they were allowed to work the land. So it passed from, in some cases, from generation to generation. But they don't really own the land. Because I recall working on the one in Foy's. Foy's had sold some. But there are people down in St. Paul, from Sandy Point down to maybe Parsons, who also work land in Foy's. And they have been trying to get them to turn over the land, and they're not using it. So it isn't that they own it. What I know about Sadlers, when they were building the houses, because Sadlers used to be on mountainside, and Mr. Yarwood in Nevis, his father had given to the government, the colonial government then. I think it was 2 acres of land. So that Sadler's village was settled from the hillside down to where they are, and with some CHA houses. The people in Sadlers were good in that day. They built most of the houses themselves by working in groups. So it is not quite true to say that the people own land in Harris's. They don't own it.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
But what he could do, he could check with the agriculture department, because I remember, although I can't put my hand on the information tonight, but I extracted it and I actually work with the agriculture department, and there was also something they were doing down Foyes, in that they wanted to put new people on the land, because the older people who used to work the land had they were no longer able, and the younger people had migrated. So a lot of the land was under grass. I think maybe the same thing happened in Harris's.
But how do you factor in this information though? I was trying to ask him in the context of the land.
Laws were passed and everything.
I was thinking about the land acquisition that we had in '75 or thereabout.
No.
No?
Because people were working.
No?
You know what Harris's settlement is?
That's been Harris's and Foyes. That's where they had the
Where
rice.
they have the rehabilitation.
Oh, okay. Harris's. Okay, that area.
Yes.
Okay, but
I
Foyes.
remember the Christmas. I remember visiting that settlement.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So, and down Foyes too. You know where Foyes be?
Foyes, they had the planted the rice one time.
Right. But their settlements there. They're 3 acre. They were given out in 3 acre plots.
Okay.
You see? So the people were given. They signed documents and everything. So what they do, people consider the land theirs. So just like how your father put you to work, then some of them pass it on to their children, and they pass it on, and some of them, they just get it on the grass.
Okay.
So I don't think the people who say they have claim to them, have title to it.
So it's not really estates, just some 3 acre plots, you said.
Yeah, it's a whole settlement, you know.
Okay.
It's a whole settlement, it is.
Okay, that's why it's called Foyes settlement.
The same thing in Harris's. So if he want to know, he could check the agriculture department.
Okay.
I have the information, and it should be at the agriculture department too.
Okay.
So if you talk to Melvin James, should be able to bring him up to scratch. I don't know if the government offered to sell it to the people, but I know they were trying to reclaim some of the land down here because they were not being used. All right then.
Got you loud and clear, Sister Sylvine. That's what Straight Talk is all about. You see, you have discussion, you don't have information. Information comes forth, then we find clarification. Caller, you're live.
Good evening, Patches.
Good evening, my dear.
Concerning the Carnival story, I think we need to appreciate what Christmas is all about. We need to put Christ into Christmas. So I agree with the lady who called about it, right? Yeah, we need to appreciate Christmas and, have Carnival another time of the year. I always say that, like some other countries do. So I would just want to say that I was supporting what the lady said, okay?
So you think it's an opportune time now to finish this debate in terms of Christmas and clashing with Carnival and so on, and try to find a different period in the year, you said?
Yes, Some countries have Carnival, like Trinidad and Sudan have Carnival.
Yeah, that's true.
It's another time of the year. And we need to really focus on Christmas.
Okay.
Right, that's when Christ was born.
Okay, point taken, my dear.
Yes.
Thanks for your input. We go back to the lines. Caller, you live.
Good night to the Honorable Ian Patches Liburd. Good night.
My dear brother, how about thou?
Oh, man, I'm here just hanging in. The rain,
Uh-huh.
The rain, man. Some rain just come down, man.
The farmers will love it, man.
Oh, man, I love that. I love that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. Patches, I just call in on my good people of the Federation of Sinkit and Nevis. Keep away from them evil sayers and them evil doers. They have no use for the country. You understand? Because if they had any use for the country, and I will repeat that all the time, if they have any use for the country, Patches, I believe that they'll sing in a better song. Can't a lady hold you up? That election done come and gone, and unity has showed them where they has done in the first storm, and the people them went out and they sewn the finger with a pen and put the X the right place. So I do not know the problem. You understand? These evil thinkers say the doctor, these evil doers say there was minister of government, these evil people who just want to see our country come to pieces because their party is not in government. Patches is a shame and a disgrace to see and to hear how these people in this country is talking. So they was part of government. You understand? In a pandemic like this, in a situation like this, where all country buckle up, everybody tries to come together, family members are come together as one, and put away the political ignorance, and do what they got to do to help one another. Talking every day, talking all kind of ignorance. Saying about they love country. Love what country? They love the pocket. You understand? Parties ever get back. You have a wonderful night. God bless.
Have a wonderful night as well, my dear brother Politics. We go back to the line at 9 o'clock. Caller, you live. Hello, caller.
Greetings in the name of our great African ancestors, especially the most honorable Marcus Messiah Gabriel Queen in Zinga, and in the spirit of Haile Selassie, all of May 128. Yes, today, brother. Today is Earth Strong. My beloved African brother, how are you doing tonight? How is the Federation? And let me say, blessed even to Queen Mother Henry. Brilliant sister, man. Brilliant sister.
We are peaceful, my dear brother. You? Yours?
Good. All is well, brother. Giving thanks, man. Giving thanks. Now, brother, let me say, the festival, the December to January festival must go on. But I mean, you could shorten it, but and skip down. I wouldn't go with the jamming, brother, but the shows, you know, the Kaiser show and the quote-unquote Queen show and other shows could go on, but it could be scaled down to, when I say scaled down, the attendance, they used to get 10,000 people, 5,000 people. You could cut it in quarter or what? First come, first serve for the tickets, brother. We got to relieve our people, man. They need to relax their mind after all going through all this thing from since what? You could say February, March, coming down there, brother. We need some relief, man. We need some therapy. Our people in the Federation up here too, brother. So, brother, I will go with the festival, but you know, if you used to for 2 weeks, you could make it just like shorten it by 3 days or so, but no jamming, brother. No jamming. I wouldn't go with the jamming.
Okay, got you.
Brother, I wouldn't go with the jamming.
Got
no.
you,
but we got to get the festival, man. We must have the festival, beloved. But
thanks a lot.
and next thing too, what Joe was saying, and Queen Mother, I remember as a child going with my maternal grandmother in Sadler to sell fish. I used to see a lot of people working those same lands, and they used like Queen Mother outline. But I always used to say, who those lands as a child? But I believe she's right, brother. I believe she's right, you know, with the ownership and everything. But those people used to work those lands in, and I had a good friend, his grandmother used to plant him. And those same land and so on. Some other people, beloved. But when it comes to reparations too, but we must demand that. And he laying down the gas. Well, Patrick, let me ask you a question. And if you know, because the National Reparations Committee in St. Kitts and Nevis, that was mandated CARICOM. But you know, from since this administration, anything was put in place, brother? Can you tell me? Because I keep asking for over 5 years and I get in all kind of runaround. So do you know if it was actually put in place finally?
I'm aware that a committee was put into place. I don't know what the findings were, but I know a committee was put into place. Okay? But thanks for your input, my dear brother.
Yeah, but I want you to find out and check it out for myself. So I want to ask, you know, but I want you, when you come on there, to find who is the members, who is the chairman, chairwoman for me and mother.
I stand corrected, but
network and Africanism are perish. One love, beloved.
One love, my dear brother. I stand corrected, but Carla Astafan, forgive me if I'm wrong, but you can correct that. I believe that you were appointed chairperson, or you have some position on the committee. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but I have somehow vaguely recall that. One of the things that the lady who called in pretty early and said quite clearly to bring back the old-time carnival and bring back God back into Christmas. She made a very important point as well, that this is not the time that we can put government under pressure. And I believe she was referring in the context of financial pressure. Is money spent now on Carnival be spent wisely? That's a question we'll ask ourselves. Caller, you're live.
Yes, good evening, Patrick.
King of the...
Now, I kind of agree with the lady, right? I won't call she name, but it's a good friend of mine. But I agree with her. But I wanted to know...
Which lady?
That Miss Slack.
So I see what I'm calling her name.
Oh, well, you catch me off there.
Yeah. But,
now, what happened? Christmas is only one day. That's Christmas. And then the next day, you're going to work. But here in the Caribbean, Christmas come that day, then you have Boxing Day, right? And they used to play the little sports and etc. And the sports go right down till New Year's. And they go different parts of the country. What I say concerning that, you could have one or two little shows, calypso shows. If you want to crown a queen and call it Chloe 19 or what it is, queen, I think that is nothing wrong with that. But the whole trouble to got them big costumes and etc. and so on, that right now we can't burden down ourselves with that. Because people need to know where the next meal coming from, the way how things going in the United States. But I think it'll take some stress off for people. You understand? It'll release a lot of stress off for some people. They just got to keep the mask on and enjoy themselves. Well, when they put the bottle to the head, they got to remove the mask, but then pull it back up. So I don't see nothing wrong with that. Okay, how you doing otherwise?
I'm peaceful, my dear brother. Yourself?
Well, keep up the good work as usual. And the Prime Minister is doing a good job. Today I've been to a conference at the airport. And I think the money what the Prime Minister and the Cabinet and all is spending to make sure this country come back, that everybody could enjoy it, is a good decision. You know, they teach us everything about health and this and that today at the airport, in the departure lounge. But it's a long time I've gone up the airport, and the airport up there is very wonderful, Patches. Very wonderful. So we're ready and so on. But if they could stay out some more until everything cool down in Miami and so on, I'll be glad. Because we need the money, yes, but we need health also. Because you could get the money today and spend all on the doctor, and then you're still going.
Okay.
You're still gone dead. So if they could hold out as long as they could, until everybody is ready, then we throw back the doors. Okay. God bless you, and bless St. Kitts, bless the government, and the Prime Minister, everybody. The good work you all are doing.
Thank you. God bless you as well, my dear brother. King of the Rock, I forgot that name there. King Rockefeller, the people's king. Call you live.
Good evening.
Good evening, my dear.
And how are you?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
Thank God they are peaceful and blessed. Well, I like the song Culture Sing Tonight. And it's a wonderful song. I wonder if you can add in a little bit more.
Well, you can give him some lyrics.
I would give him.
You right?
So I'll look for him and give him the lyrics and some more pieces to put in.
Okay, there.
Have a blessed evening.
Have a blessed evening.
And God bless you.
God bless you as well. Mr. Liburd, I understand that the journalists at Win FM who was working in collaboration with Dwyer, Sam and others to bring you down and ensure that you do not beat Jeffrey, was fired from Win FM with immediate effect. According to Dwyer, this is what I was told, that the journalist cried like a baby, asking the board to reconsider their decision, for he was willing to take a pay cut, and the board responded, "Sorry, Ken, you have to go." Read this email. Caller, you're live. Hello,
yes,
caller.
Good night.
Good night, my
Good
dear.
night.
Yeah, could you turn your equipment or your radio down?
It's off. It's off.
It's
It's
off?
off. My hand was on the button. Yes.
Oh, yeah, okay. I always want the whole world to hear you.
Yes, my hand was on the button.
Okay, gotcha.
Now, cuz, good night. I am upset with that man. That man, I and you are cousins. I going to tell you, go out there and eat food from any and anybody. All I tell you before you put anything in your mouth, whether you buy it or you make it, all you have to do is bless it.
Bless it.
That's all you have to do. Bless it. Put it to God and bless it. Listen, I am diabetic for over 35 years. And one day, this lady came home by me. And she said, "It's not a long time since you're diabetic?" I said, "Yes." She said, "Are you afraid to take your medication?" My daughter sing out, "Mommy ain't afraid to take her medication, you know." Mommy praying over them. That's what my daughter tell her. She said, "Oh, I do everything before I put anything in my mouth. I pray it. I ask the Lord to bless it, and I ask him to bless it in Jesus' name." Okay? And cuz, have a good night. May know how he gonna think. I don't know who he is, but I don't know how he gonna think that I am going to send you out there. I know you're good enough to know that you ain't going to take no food from any and anybody. So I can't tell you go out there to eat from any and anybody. All I am telling you, when you have anything, you just pray over your food.
Got you loud and clear, cousin. Okay.
Okay?
Thank you very much.
So thank you and have a good night. Safe drive home.
Thanks a lot. Have a good night as well. Over there in New York. Caller, you're live.
Second do. They coming down, 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 man, they coming down. The American FBI is coming down. He tell you all is 10 men in one, but he dare not go Washington. Anytime he rise in a plane, they gonna say come down. Then he tell the world that he bad since he born. Oh, sorry. He tell the world that he bad since he born. But to New York City, man, the man ain't gone. That's just a bus on the tune there. I have to come back. But anyway, a bus on that one there for you. But this Carnival and Christmas thing, right? The nightly activities, they're okay. But this Juba business on the street, rampack, look what Talkie said. Well, for me, I am not in favor of that. Because nobody at all in the jamming gonna put on a mask. None. Some of them when they remember, they might trash back on space where a little 6 feet or 72 inches. But then nobody going in a jam in a mask, my son. None. Maybe the bandmen them and the truck might have on the mask. So let me go back to the old time folklore things. You know what them they depicting? Bible stories and stories what come out of Africa. This carnival jamming business here come from Brazil. And we see how them Brazilians dress when they don't celebrating the carnival. And we adapting the style with our dressing. Let me go back to the bull masquerade, Macajombi, like Elimat said, going down 4th Street with the wicked fifer. And we could enjoy the Christmas. Who want the jam? But for me, I would not do that. Anyway, Patches, I gotta go. Don't study them people, dear. The Bible said in Proverbs 11:26, like a dog return to its vomit or vomit, so is a fool return to his folly. All of them, they know who talking about why they don't open the gate and have carnival and do this abusing. They're waiting for something to happen. Then they add on the accusation, the false accusation from the Prime Minister and the government. That is what they're coping for. They're like a bunch of hyena dogs out there just looking for an easy prey to go upon it and destroy it. You don't mind them there, they ain't gonna shame. Otherwise they will not go up on the radio and saying what they're saying. And the one who call himself an ex-CMO, he's the least among them. Because all what he could do is dab on population and people broke foot. That's all he could do. Anything the CMO said, any medical professional said, he got some kind of negative criticism to give to it. And he ain't no better. He ain't a doctor. Up the hospital, as soon as the child look malnourished, and the parents come in, he looking at the parents and looking at the child, and then he telling them he can put them down the children home for adoption. That's all he do. Before he treat the child to overcome the malnourished, that's all he do. Dab on population all over the child and send them down there. Let them hush them out.
They
don't value nothing.
Yeah,
but talk about people.
Let's not
Thank
go
you
there.
for me to
Let's
turn
not
it
go
done.
there, my brother. Thanks for your input, but we can't associate ourselves with that proposition, although we know who you're referring to, but not necessary at all. And in the event you've just joined us, my Straight Talk family, and just to inform those who may be listening, in particular the local ones, there's a letter published today on social media coming from the Department of Labor, in effect a bulletin board notice which reads, all eligible employees who have been laid off for 12 weeks or more from the St. Kitts Marriott Resort and Royal Beach Casino, i.e. workers at the hotel, casino and golf course, and golf it says, rather, are asked to visit the community center on Victoria Road, Basseterre, on Friday, that's tomorrow, 24 July, Monday 27 July and Tuesday 28 July 2020 between the hours of 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. to complete their severance forms. These employees are advised that this application process can now be facilitated as the Department of Labor is now in receipt of the full staff list that were requested from Marriott, inclusive of the rates of pay. Kindly remember, it continues, that only persons who have worked for 1 year or more are eligible for severance payment. Please also remember to walk with your Social Security card and the layoff letter you would have received from the St. Kitts Marriott Resort and Royal Beach Casino. Also note that COVID-19 protocols will be observed at the community center. As such, social distancing guidelines will be in effect and persons can only access the building if they are wearing a mask. Signed by the Department, or the Deputy Labor Commissioner, I should say, Dion Webb. Caller, you are live. Hello, caller.
Good night, sir. Good night.
Good night, sir.
I've been listening to the program, and I simply call to make a comment, right? I don't know if you guys dislike the comment, but you call your program Straight Talk, okay? Now, I don't know how straight your program is, because when people go on other radio stations and talking utter nonsense, I consider it utter nonsense. When people call Straight Talk now, and people want to hit them like culture wanted to hit them, you're telling them, let's not go there. You know, I just can't understand that.
Yeah, but caller, just,
you could hit them without, you could hit
no,
them
no, please. On Straight Talk, when you hit, to use your words, and I don't like the word hit anyway, right? But I think I understand what you mean. You're going to hit them on Straight Talk with the truth, right? And the truth, to me, must be verifiable. All right, I cannot verify what you're hitting them with, to use the words. And as long as I, as a host, cannot verify it, I would not accept it on this program. It's as simple as that.
When I say
I don't care about the other stations. I really can't defend the other stations. When you come here to hit anybody to use your words, you must hit them with the truth. And the truth must be factual to me.
Right?
Fine.
But
Any other point?
Let's put it this way, right?
Let's
put it this way. When somebody is let me say it from a different regard. You're rebutting. You then rebutting what they would have said.
I can't, I don't, please no, I hate to interrupt you like this, right? But I am not, I don't know what's said on the other radio stations. I'm not responsible for that. I don't listen to the other radio stations. But I'm saying when you come to this program, right, and I'm listening to you, unless I can verify what you're saying, especially when they're bordering on defamation and libel, you have to come with the facts. And don't tell me you have them. You have to show me those facts, the hard facts. And that is how I run this program all the years, and I won't move away from that. And I'm saying so respectfully to you, sir.
Okay, but if somebody listens to another radio station, all of them that take the program, right? And you say that you hear somebody say something on the radio station.
Well, rebut it on that station. You don't have to rebut it on Straight Talk. Just rebut it on that station. Why am I? This is not the forum for rebuttal. It's a forum to come with the facts. I started my programs in a talk radio, I always admonish you to talk the truth. That's all you got to do.
Yeah, but I hear them on the other, but I myself heard them on the other station saying open the waters.
Yeah, but I'm not caring about the other stations. Why are you going to the other stations? But
the tape.
Okay, my brother, I think we have exhausted that. Yeah, anything else you want to speak about?
There's nothing else I want to I find sometimes we want to go easy on these people, man.
Well, you're entitled.
The nonsense and people must be easy on them. I find that. Eh?
Okay, sir. Thanks for your.
You hold your point. I hold in mine.
Thanks, but that is what Straight Talk is all about. You hold your point, and I hold mine. We respect each other, but we don't have to accept what we say. Again, when it comes to Straight Talk, unless you can provide the verifiable truth or facts, I am not going to entertain it. Because we have a station, and I'm not going to expose the station to any form of defamation or libel. Okay? So you have the facts. The facts is not hearing them on another station. The facts, you must present them to me and let me see them. Then you go, and to use your words, hit them. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, you live.
Hey, it's just me again. I just wanted to see if we could get on the same page here for a minute with this COVID-19 thing, right? America has like 4 million cases, okay? Let's say, for instance, those 4 million people die. You there with me?
Yeah, I'm listening, sir.
All right, cool. Let's say, for instance, those 4 million people die. Let's say that all those 4 million, half of them were Social Security recipients. Those are people who are 60 years and over, or 65 and over. But the COVID-19 attacking you from 60. Okay? Now, the Bible says that we're supposed to live 10, so that's 70. So they're robbing you 10 years. And then all that money, hear me out for a minute. All that money that was paid out by Social Security now goes back into the government coffers to pay down their deficit. You understand? Kind of like population control. But COVID-19, like I told you, is an agent of the New World Order. And it's looking to kill you too, knowing that black people are the most hated on the planet. Have a great night, sir.
Have a great night as well. My dear brother, we go back to the lines. Caller. We missed that call. Caller, you're alive.
Hi, good night, sir. Honorable.
Good night, my dear brother.
How you doing?
I am peaceful. That sounds like Linwall.
Oh, yes, indeed.
You're trying to...
You're not culture boss just now, right?
Well, the big king boss, I bossed before too, so that's not nothing new. Good singers boss, right? Good singers boss, don't worry that.
You last time, right? You bossed. have to find something quick to make it up.
Yes, my brother.
You said something earlier in your opening remarks about the two fellas trying to creep back in. I think that was Dwyer looking for something. Dwyer and Sam. When you going to release that information, what they're looking for?
I'll get you updated. I'll keep you updated, my brother. Right? But you know they can't do without a government. So I can't believe these guys had the guts to really, after saying the things they said, you know, to try to crawl back. I said, crawl back under the tent. Please don't misquote me, my brother.
Well, I'm glad that you repeated, so at least I know exactly what you said now. You said it's straight talk, so we talk straight.
Yes, crawling back undercover to the Team Unity camp in search of favors. That's exactly what I said.
Crawling back to the Team Unity camp.
In search of favors.
In search of favors.
Yes.
I wonder what that favor is. What can it be?
You are an investigative reporter, so you do your investigations, my brother.
Well, I'm coming to the source now. That's part of the investigation. You're the source.
Are you trying to find the source?
You got the information, so.
Good
it's
thing,
straight talk.
A good thing you're not the court, so you can subpoena me, right?
Take care, man. We talk some more.
Have yourself a good night. That's my brother Valentine Linwald Thomas. Well, Patches, that email you just read about the journalists, you need to make some inquiries for more, what's that, morning verification? Well, I guess he's trying to say more verification before I say more. However, I will listen to the link up in the morning with Observer Radio in Antigua by the help of the Lord and see if Bacchus will touch it with a 10-foot pole. Yes, I can verify what you said. When I heard Dr. Drew and the other misleaders of labor trying to sully the good names of Jonell and Grant, talking their stupidness about the courts, found them guilty of misappropriation and they're touting it. These people do not have a clue what they are saying. If they were found guilty of this offense, what is the penalty? Were they fined and how much they had to pay? Were they sent to prison and for how long? All what happened is that Powell and Grant inadvertently allowed the legal time to run out before they could file their defense. That is all. I think Joe should take the advice of his campaign man Duncan Watley and stick to his medical practice and leave politics alone. Read this email. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Hello, Patches. Good evening.
Good evening, the matron of Street Talk. I've given you another title. Good evening, mine.
I'm trying all night to call you.
I'm happy you got it.
How are you doing? How are you doing?
I am peaceful. I am peaceful. What about yourself?
Peaceful too. Just taking one day at a time, one day at a time, and trying to keep safe.
Yes, and healthy. Yes.
Yes.
You still have?
Yes, to God be the glory. Great things you have done. Yes, I have. What I call about is this carnival thing. I agree with that lady who called in earlier. And she said, you know, God has been so good to us throughout this COVID-19. When we look at the other nations, today when I went on Facebook, I could see that the people in Iran, people are turning to God. Some time ago, I look, and I see people in France on their knees in the street crying out to God. And I think, you know, God wants our attention. And yes, I like to see young people. I was young once. We all were young once. And we all had our times of fun and frolic, and we enjoyed ourselves. But it's only for a time. But now, this is serious times. The money that is being spent for Carnival, to do this and to do that, we don't know how long this thing is going to last, even into the next year. And many many of us, and when I say us, I mean residents of St. Kitts and citizens of St. Kitts, we are depending on the government to help us out. With some are not working, some are not working for a lot of money. So you have to cut your garment according to the width of your cloth. I've said that before, and I'm saying it again. Carnival is only for a time. And they'll need that money. You're going to spend up all this for Carnival, and then when January comes, you look into the government to help you out. So be wise. You can enjoy yourselves. We used to have you still have the masquerades, and we used to go around from village to village and have our little fun. And the children can have their fun, and the young people can have their fun without having this extortionary thing about Carnival. Because you have to mind your borders. And if you're going to keep bringing a crowd of people, as the Prime Minister has already outlined, you have to have the resources, you have to have a plan, people have to be quarantined, testing, and all these sort of things. So we have to take one day at a time, one step at a time. And I am not saying forgetting about Carnival, but I'm going to say, be cautious of what we are doing and not just having just one day or a couple of days and then what? For the rest of the 2021, what? We start to bawl and we start to complain and we start to pressure the government to find money to give us. So I just say people have to think well, and they have to look at the future and look at what other countries are going through and give God thanks. Give Him thanks. This is what He wants. He wants our attention. He wants us to draw nearer to Him. He wants us to draw closer to Him. He wants us to seek Him first and His righteousness, and all the other things will be added unto us. So my dear people, just think it over. Be wise and be content and be happy that if you live to see another Christmas, to give God the praise, because many who have begun the year with us, they won't be there with us to see another Christmas. So God bless you all, and look unto the hills, from whence cometh our help, for our help cometh from the Lord, and give Him thanks for every day, and what He has provided, and what He has provided. God bless you all.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So let it be. Amen. Nice. The sound intervention from our dear matron. And that answered this question without any doubt whatsoever by Straight Talk family. So let it be.
We've seen over the past few months.
What's going on here? Oh. Okay, we go straight back to the lines. Caller, you're live. Okay, let's take this other call. Caller, you're live. What's going on here? Caller, you are live then. Caller?
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Patches, what's up? Good night.
Peaceful man, yourself?
Yeah, I was just listening to all these people talking about Carnival. Let me say something here, see, Patches. There was a time a lot of youngsters wouldn't realize that, but there was a time when we had a state of emergency in St. Kitts. And that year we had no Carnival, you know. I don't know if you can remember that.
Yes.
We had a state of emergency in St. Kitts many years ago. I think it's a whole year we had a state of emergency. I want to believe that I'm not wrong. And we had the Carnival. And it came to St. Kitts, I think. I don't know what that lady was talking about, the young people and them want Carnival. I don't know what she's talking about. But I want to live. At some point in time, we're gonna have to open the border. At some point in time, we can't say it like this all the time. But I believe that the government is supposed to take it in strides. There's another issue.
Yeah, go
Hello?
ahead. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Go ahead.
Yeah, there's another issue here that you know, this thing with Grant and Powell came up before election, right? They won the seat. So I really don't understand why these losers are still trying to do all kind of things, because these people won the seat. They did the same thing with Grant when they're talking about the merit, and he won his seat. They tried to do the same thing with Hamilton some years ago. You know, remember the insurance issue that they had with Hamilton, and they had the picture stick up all over the place and wanted to get the impression that he went with money, and he won his seat. So I really don't understand why they don't just sit back, relax. And you know one thing, a strange thing I find, that they're calling for fresh election. How come they're not challenging number 6 and number 1? How come they're not challenging 6 and 1? Why they only challenging the other 6 and not constituency 6 and constituency 1? I thought that if you want a fresh election, you're gonna have a fresh election. Huh?
Yep.
You're gonna have a fresh election for all seats. You understand me? The people in Nevis sit back and relax and accept the result, but they don't want to. They don't want to accept the result. You know, the problem is they feel that Papa Brass, as we used to call him, left things in the will for them, so they can't see themselves in opposition. You lose. Cool out, man. Wait for another 5 years and you come back strong. Anyway, Patches, check your man.
Thank you very much, my dear brother, for your input. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Yes, you're live.
Good night. Good night, the Honorable Mr. Liburd. How are you doing?
I am peaceful. That was like a warrior from the east.
Yes, in St. Thomas.
Yes.
I'm just calling to say, right, that if you all open up for Carnival, that means all quarantine stop. That's number 1. Number 2, Carnival in St. Thomas is one of the biggest revenue besides tourism that they depend on here. We didn't have no Carnival April, okay? I know that was the peak of the corona, and right now our numbers are higher than when we was up in April down here. And more people are getting sick here in St. Thomas and everything. So my thing is this: if they even miss one Carnival, that's not nothing, because everybody's not gonna come in when they come in December. Nobody's gonna quarantine, so quarantine is going to be done. And I'm asking for the safety of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, please. You all don't need nothing, okay? 'Cause everybody coming from up hot spot, okay? So one time of Carnival ain't gonna do nothing, because we didn't have any in April, and it didn't even look like, you know, it didn't bother anybody. I don't know if he had a younger generation, but you know, the government decided, well, no Carnival and no Carnival, and everything went good. Everything went good. So just one time ain't gonna hurt nobody. Anyway, let me take this time to say congratulations to the first Prime Minister of St. Kitts, the Honorable Alphonse Kennedy Stimmons. Dr. Kennedy Stimmons, I love you, love you, love you. Thank you for your service to Miss Brown children. When we was children and you had your office and Ingrid was a nurse and we sick, we come across and you said, they should knock on the door and you said, send them in, send them in. God bless you. May the Lord bless you to reap your harvest, to see you, smell your flowers. And I hope when I come home, I will be able to see you. Love you, Dr. Kennedy Stimmons. And Patches, stay safe. And to the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, I love you all. Stay safe, and God bless the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis.
Thank you, Sister P. We love you more. At 14 before 10 o'clock, as we wind down tonight's programming, we go straight back to the lines. Call you live.
Yeah, Patrick, just near my second go up. Just let me ask that lady, Nurse Gianni, she's great, man. She's from the old generation. She told them that her mother was blind, but She was doing things, making things. Our people want the government to do everything for them today. Soon they're going to want you to go to the bathroom for them. We got to cut this nonsense. Number two, that lady, that crazy lady you're talking about, jumping up lady children. Them is so got the kids destroyed today. Our kids are destroyed. I mean, the kids are slaughtering each other in the middle of the day. And it's the women. It's the women. Our women have gone to the dogs. I'm sorry. It's a fact. No. This gentleman must understand. You're a guy who don't stand for injustice. You're a fair guy. So don't intrude and you be called. Don't let them intimidate you. Don't let them say, oh, we're going to sue patches. If they say they're going to sue you and you need money, let us know. Well, I don't think you need them. But anything to raise something, because we only have one hope, is you. Bacchus is a coward. Nital is that is what the sociopath was doing with them. He was using them and bringing them fake news, along with the labor boiler room, the labor mafia boiler room. And that man was using them. He couldn't use you. When he came to you the first time on the radio, you didn't know me. You went straight at the man and say, you put the house in a, we want to do. And he came and tell you, no house, no water one that got him for. And then he come in and tell the court, no water one that got him 100 years. You see what's going on in St. Kitts, the wickedness. But like I said, he's a sociopath, so we'll find out. Okay? But Patches, when Patches tell you something, listen to Patches, man. Please. Patches is an honest guy. He's one of the most honest guys who went to grammar school. He and a few others. The rest of them are lowlife, murderers, thieves, and rapists. Listen to Patches. He's a jewel for us in St. Kitts. Please. This man is a decent and honest guy. Okay? And he's standing up for you, this small man. Patches, have a good evening, and don't eat no food on a bad till you got price just pay for it. Have a good evening.
Good evening, as well, my dear brother. I am humbled by your commendation. I wonder why Douglas and Labour treat Patrice Nisbet like a dog. Is it because Patrice is looking company with them, and they don't have any use now for him because he did not win his seat? If they had any use for him, they would have included him as the 7th election petitioner in the election case, now before the court. 20 years he was there with Douglas in government and did not get anything from Douglas for Nevis. What a shame, reads this email. This other email reads, good evening, Patches. The same way we can forego other activities because of the pandemic, by the same token, we can't cancel the Carnival for this year. Perhaps this is a very good opportunity for us to really enjoy a Christmas for a change and appreciate the true meaning. People need to take this pandemic seriously and don't take things for granted. It is very irresponsible to say that we don't have COVID here, so it's okay to have jamming. We need to go back to basics and be willing to make little sacrifices for our survival, reads this email. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Hello, good night, Patrick.
Good night, sir.
First thing, no Carnival. From the days, the 20 years of gun trade I've been playing to the country, it's full time. We got on our knees and beg the Lord to forgive us for the 20 years of gun crime. I'm not excluding nobody. Everybody was a part because everybody could have done something to stop it. It stopped now, so we need to go down on our knees, ask the Father for forgiveness, and move on. So the Carnival we could do, I'll go down on our knees kind of things and ask the Lord to spare us and something like that. No Carnival. Time to go down on our knees and ask the Father for help.
Very much, my dear brother, in the same context of prayer to Almighty God for saving us thus far, the COVID. Good night, Patches. Here in the BVI, we are saying we were COVID-19 free, only to find out because of something having to go back to, or someone, beg your pardon, having to go back to their country, St. Vincent, and was tested on her arrival. We know that COVID is here. Be careful, St. Kitts Nevis, we cannot take that risk. Thinking about Carnival, some people might have it and don't know. Reads this email. This other email reads, what is going on with the banking system in St. Kitts? I have a little account down there. I can't even get a chance to get it grow at the end of each month. It's VAT, service charge, and a whole heap of charges. Why so many fees? I don't see this happening with National Bank. Maybe government needs to ease up on the VAT. For VAT, poor people can't thrive. Too much fees, reads this email. This other email reads, "Dear Patches, the government of St. Kitts Nevis needs to be careful with the taxpayers' money. People using the government got big bank accounts and depending on the government for everything. Tim needs to be straight up and let the people know how the ball rolling. Taxes have to be paid. That waiver done for water and the lights in September. No more extension to be advised. That's it," reads this email. As we wind down tonight's program in my Straight Dog family, we were looking at the opening of the borders and sought your intervention as to the activities we should at least entertain. We have foregone music festival, we have foregone the CPL, we opening up the sporting and outdoor activities, and the big one is how should we celebrate this upcoming Christmas. Caller, you live. Okay, let's take this other call. Caller, you live. Wow, caller, you alive. Hello, caller. Hello, are you there, caller? Hello?
Listen here to me. I listen to everybody. Let me tell you something here. I am on my bed listening, and I am going to tell you something. The Lord has removed Douglas out of office, and all God wants us to do to serve Him. Now we get a chance. We suppose forget about the carnival and start to talk to God to help us to reach another Christmas. Not talk about the young people. Listen here, God need us. He need us to pray. Listen, and I'm going to say this. The word of God says, God judges the righteous, but He angry with the wicked over there. Listen to Patches. God looking on. He need our intention. We support, we pray. Forget about people, about jamming and this and that. No. So that there is going to be no mass in that kind of thing there. All we have to do is forget about it and let the Christmas go on. And when Christmas comes, we really saw God in reality. I hear merchants say that people who used to call on God or call on God, let's think it's start to do it more than ever. Because the Bible says, the nation who forget about God is doomed. No me say so. So God is looking at God, the reverend that we have here, God answer the prayer. So good night, Patches, and I'm going to tell you something. Stand still, Patches. Your victory is coming. So no worry your head. Be strong. You hear what I said?
Yes, my dear brother.
Your victory is coming. Nobody can stop it. You hear what I said? All right, have a pleasant night.
Have a pleasant night as well, my dear brother. As we wind down tonight's programming, in the event you've joined me late, my dear family, we looked at the challenges being faced in terms of reopening our borders. We looked at the challenge we face in terms of really reopening the economy, so to speak, and how we go about it. At 4 before 10 o'clock, you're live caller.
Patches.
So.
I went country the other day, got to some work for a lady, right? And I was disappointed with that lady. That lady said she was a PAM, and she come up in the PAM, you know, philosophy and use those things. No, Patches, that lady is telling me Sam White would what he say. The lady tell me Sam White would do what he say. A pumpkin reunion. And that lady older than me, the lady is supposed to know that a lot of people left from St. Kitts just because they could not get a work, went to England and different the Virgin Islands because of the same union. You understand? Party the union kill less, it kill itself. And Labour kill the union, the party kill the union. And the lady supposed to know better. You understand? So party something when we hear some of these people talk, we got to really stop local listening. We got to really stop local listening, patches. Because I myself witnessed that I was a player at the union. I joined the union in the 80s. I remember good. That time I went to cut cane. Somebody tell me plain that must join the union, I might get a bad cut or something. And one of these days, that the union, and the time for me, I joined the union when I was in. You understand? And a lot of people, like a young man who went to cut cane, join the union. So I want to know how kill the union. I listen to my good friend from Challengers, my good challenger man, Mr. Davis. And you hear what he say about the union? A man take the union to court. I wonder if the lady wasn't listening. Because the man decided, you know, he refused to pay the union take out the money, and he said he take the union to court, you don't want the money come out. It's just like whatever organization, you don't want the money come out, you just don't want the money come out. Right? Patches, you have a wonderful night. God bless. Bye. For in these people in this country.
Bless you as well, my dear brother. This file email reads, Patches, technically we didn't forego CPL. The decision was made by the organizers just to have it in Trinidad alone. The decision was taken out of our hands. Yes, you're so correct. Obviously, forego is not the right word in terms of CPL, but at least there's no CPL, which we were also anticipating. It's going to be one venue, hopefully, in Trinidad and Tobago. I'll take this perhaps and make this my final call for the night. Call you live.
Yes, me again. I'm glad you got me on the last call. Listen, man, you understand what it is they're doing with the world, right? Now, when I was growing up, I remember U.S. used to give China favorite nation status. Even though China used to do all that stuff to their people, they would always get favorite nation status because I guess they were sending cheap stuff. They were doing some kind of work with America or something. China owns a lot of America, so much so that if they were to demand their money, America would have to give up like a state or something. There's another thing I wanted to tell you about when it comes to this New World Order, right? There was a guy who got shot, well, mutilated in Turkey by the name of, well, they call it Khashoggi, but his name is Khashoggi. Now, I can't be for certain that his uncle or his grandfather or any of them is this particular individual, but he was a Saudi arms dealer by the name of Adnan Khashoggi. This was back in the day when Iran and Iraq had that big old war going on. You know, I mean, I think Thatcher might have still been alive, but this place was so close you probably wouldn't know much about that. But all that ties into what it is going on. I hear them telling you that the world is overpopulated and they can't feed the world and this and that and that. This stuff is to get rid of a whole bunch of us. And how easy to do it. If you're a church-going person, you will understand as well that since the days of John the Baptist, men have been trying to wrestle God's thing away from them.
Okay, got you, my brother. Got you loud and clear.
That's the economy business.
Yes, sir.
You understand what I'm saying?
Got you loud and clear, my brother. Thanks.
I myself agree with those ladies. So, like how you could make the mass mandatory, maybe you could make us sing and dance to Jesus for the 25th of December rather than Carnival, okay?
Okay.
Thank you very much for hearing me, and have a great night.
Have a great night as well, and perhaps a nice note on which to end tonight. Let the Mass be for Jesus instead, my straight dog family. As we wrap up tonight's programming, I think we got the views loud and clear. It started with the homegrown carnival, but then the general consensus, I believe you'll agree, is that it's not time for carnival, homegrown or not, because we cannot put government, as one put it, under the pressure. And I believe that means a financial pressure. We need to spend our money more wisely instead of on fun and frolic. That's the view I got coming across from the callers. And Matron put it well. We need to be good, or rather, we need to take this and consider what I call, or what you call, the serious times. And in fact, reminded us that God needs our attention. God wants our attention, as God has been good for us. She spoke about Iran, people are turning to God. Even in France, people are on their knees. Why not? We go onto our knees as well and give God thanks. And time to bring back God into Christmas. Bring back the old time days and bring God into Christmas. That's the way we're going to end it, my Straight Talk family. Because my time is done and I got to run. I want to, in the process, thank you. All those, thank Almighty God, I should say, for guiding our conversation tonight. And as always, I want to thank you, the many callers, those who could not even get in. I thank you as well for trying. My Straight Talk family, I want to thank you, those on Facebook, my Facebook massive, those on YouTube, and those on social media. I want to thank you. Thank you, the emailers. And for those of you who just listen, remember, you are the ones who make Straight Talk, and for that reason, I say a big, big thank you. I am Ian Patches Liburd, and God's willing, we will connect on Monday for another edition of Straight Talk. Until we connect that time, have yourselves a wonderful weekend. Make sure you go to church, or whether virtually and or otherwise, and make sure you give God thanks for what He has done for us. He has been wonderful to all of us, and we ought to give Him thanks. My Straight Talk family, whatever your mind conceive, that you will achieve. But first of all, you got to believe. So when you wake in the morning, thank God for the morning light. Thank Him for taking you through the night. And my Straight Talk family, keep moving on. Bye-bye. Until we connect on Monday, be good to yourselves and to all whom you meet.